Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world.
I've been looking around for salvation. I've been looking around for the truth. All around me I see frustration, and I looked all over till I found you. I sit and listen to your stories, and you're telling me, please don't worry. There's a lot in this world you should know, and love in life is where you should go. If you're looking for somewhere to go, if you're looking for someone to know, if you're looking for someone to guide you, then love in life will guide you. I know that life outside is so hard.
Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world, and welcome to tonight's live stream. It's not a nice subject, but it's one that we have to unpack and see what actually happened. And we'll be talking to two people who were on the ground earlier today at Fairview Stables and Racecourse. And I've got a report here by Colonel Priscilla Naidu from the South African Police Service, and this is what she has to say in her report. Port Elizabeth, a mob of about 150 to 200 protesters from the Fairview informal settlement stormed onto the property of Fairview Stables and freed about 28 horses early this morning. That's on the 17th of September. According to information on hand, at about 6 a.m., police responded to a complaint of the angry protesters who entered the property and allegedly broke the locks of the stables. The horses were freed and were forced out of the property by assaulting them. They were reported to be running in all directions, with their abusers taunting them with sticks and stones. One horse was found dead about a kilometer away in an opening near the houses. It is alleged that it was stabbed and assaulted. All the horses have been accounted for, and the injured horses are receiving treatment by the Port Elizabeth Anti-Animal Cruelty. At this stage, the exact reason for the protests and subsequent death, injury and release of the horses is not known. Now, we'll be unpacking that tonight. Public order policing, the community security companies, specialized police units, as well as the South African Police Service Kabega Park members assisted the stabling staff in rounding up the traumatized animals. The horses are racehorses. Public order policing will remain in the area to avert further attacks. A case of malicious injury to property is opened and under investigation. Additional charges may be added. Police are warning social media users to refrain from posting false information relating to the incident, as this can cause the current situation to escalate into confusion and retaliatory conduct by the community. Any person who publishes, distributes, discloses, transmits, circulates or spreads false information or fake news is guilty of an offence and may be prosecuted. Now that's from Colonel Priscilla Naidu of the South African Police Service. Let me show you a short video which will show you what happened or what took place. is Fairview Racecourse.
Looks like they're trying to catch another horse. I can't see it what's there behind this bloody screen. Yeah. Huh? I don't know.
Okay, as you can see, those poor horses must have been absolutely terrified, and it's absolutely awful what took place. But let's get it firsthand from people who were on the ground. I'm going to get Montana and David up. Now, Montana was there at the time. Let's just get Montana first. I'll just give her a message. Okay, let me get David up. Hi, David.
Good evening, Scott. How are you, sir?
Excellent, thank you. Excellent. David, I've just showed some video footage of what took place earlier today at the Fairview Racecourse, and we could see the crowds chasing after horses. Now, before we get into all that, can you please tell, we got about 700 people watching at the moment. Can you just tell people what your background is and what you do, how you're involved in this? Just give a bit of your background to your involvement in security and so on.
Thank you, Scott. I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. Ex-South African Army. I was involved in the security industry and the close protection industry for a long time, working in South Africa and overseas. I have currently been employed in the Gamtoos Valley as filmmaker, and that's an area going up towards the Barbians, which is just outside of Elizabeth. We're about 70 kilometers from Port Elizabeth. Yeah, so that's my CV in a nutshell, if I can put it that way.
Okay, now, David, meet Montana. Montana, meet David.
Hi, how do you do?
Now, Montana, give us a bit of your background and your involvement in the Fairview Racecourse.
Sorry, someone was just trying to call me.
That's okay.
My involvement, I wasn't involved at all. My staff were involved. I am a trainer at Fairview. I know Yvette Bremner well. She, unfortunately, this was mainly affected her. Everyone else's staff did sit down with her staff, but everyone else's horses weren't harmed at all. It was just basically Yvette Bremner's horses that were targeted today.
Right. Okay. Now, you know a bit of the background as to why they were targeted, don't you? Can you give us that?
I do. It's more in-house politics regarding retrenchment and UIF forms and all of that. I can't say. It's not my staff. It's not my place to say. It's Yvette's place to say. But from what I hear, it's a staff matter.
Right. David, do you know anything more about the background to what happened today?
Okay. From what I've been informed, it was an employee there who, what I got was stabbed a horse with a pair of scissors. Some people say accidentally, some people say deliberately. He was fired. He appealed it at the CCMA. The CCMA held up the findings. Some people went out on strike with him, and they were subsequently fired as well. That was basically in the nutshell what I got about the background of the excuse. Let me rather use the word excuse for today's behavior.
Okay, when did that happen?
The stabbing incident about 7 months ago.
So this is 7 months ago. So nothing happened for 7 months.
This has been brewing for a long time.
Okay. So there's been a lot of sort of angry people, you could say.
When the incident happened, the first initial incident happened, there was all of the hoopla, and there was actually the first strike that actually a race meeting got cancelled because of it, because they stormed onto the course because they said that Yvette Bremner wasn't allowed to race and that she had to take her horses back. So the meeting got abandoned, and then after that it kind of died down, and then Yvette kind of carried on as normal. She was racing, just her assistants were helping and doing all of the horses, and it was pretty quiet. And then of late, I believe she rehired three grooms, and then that's, I think, what re-sparked this whole thing.
Okay, so the hiring of these 3 grooms, which are taking basically the fired guy's job, is the background to what happened. David, you were on the ground today, weren't you? You actually saw what happened.
The savage attack on the horses I didn't witness myself. Thank goodness for myself and for the other party as well. The reason of why I got involved and a lot of other people got involved, we have a WhatsApp group running throughout the area, Eastern Cape Security Network, where we share information intelligence about current, relevant, local security issues. And we started getting messages on there and the video clip about the horses being assaulted and horses being slashed, etc. There was also a message about that one of the ladies there, I'm not sure if it was the lady you mentioned now, they threatened to rape her, a lot of them, etc., etc., etc. A lot of that sort of stuff. What we then did, we initiated our emergency protocol, if I can use that big word, where we put a call out to anyone who can assist to go there and stand by to assist where necessary. Where SATS are no longer able or willing to carry on protecting the property of the people, then the people there will then assist to do what's necessary within the confines of the law. And it's all done under a strict protocol, under control of a national organization, and that's how we end up being there today.
Right. Okay, we've got about 800 people watching. Now, what time did this start, Montana? What time did the invasion start?
My staff were all at work. They did their boxes. They changed water and everything. So my staff carried on as normal.
Right.
And then at about 6:15 is when all hell kind of broke loose. And then my staff kind of said, look, shizzle is kicking off that they need to go see what's going on, and then they all left. And then the next thing I knew, they were all at the gate. They were setting the horses loose, and then it was just pandemonium.
And there were about 28 horses involved, weren't there?
Yes, they
Okay.
set a whole barn loose.
Okay. Now, did they just target one owner's horses? They didn't target anyone else's horses. Is that correct?
No, it was just Yvette. My yard wasn't touched. No one else's yards were touched. It was just Yvette Bremner.
So it's quite clearly that they were targeting her.
That's why I say it's an in-house matter that's spilled out in a very grand scale.
Right. Now, David, did you actually go to Fairview Racecourse today to have a look at it? What had happened?
Yes. I went down there, being one of the, how can I say, leaders in the community with the security network we have.
Right.
I was requested by some people I know, and I got a lot of WhatsApps and phone calls from people I don't know saying, please go down there, help. So I went down there not to go and beat people up or do this, that, the next thing, but to help where the situation was required. So I went down there. There was already a lot of people on scene. By that side, public order policing had arrived. The old riot unit, as we used to call them, and they were then starting to take matters in hand. But what I do want to point out was information that I received firsthand from one of the security officers on site, which really disgusted me. They were at the gate. The local police were at the gate with them. And when these people came to break through, the security officers were prepared to use whatever force necessary to protect the premises and to protect the people inside. And they were told, this is according to the security officer on site, not to do anything. And these people burst through there and they did what they did in the presence of police.
So the police didn't stop them?
Right there.
Yeah.
That's the one I got. I was not physically there myself, but from a security officer I spoke to afterwards who looked to me, and I know the signs of someone who's been through trauma. That he was really traumatized, and he said to me, "Yeah, Dave, we stood there. We wanted to stop them. We were ready to use force if it was necessary. We were told not to." So. Yeah.
That was the police who instructed them not to respond to this invasion.
That is what I've been told.
Montana, what did you hear?
Well, it's basically what I saw.
Okay. Tell us what you saw.
There were police there. There was private security there. They could have done, I think, a little bit more, but in the light of the matter, I think it would have aggravated the situation a hell of a lot more. I think it was there more just to contain, to make sure that no people got hurt. I think they were more there for protection more than to stop.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I think the number difference was astronomical, so I don't think they could have done much. And there were too many civilians around. I mean, God forbid someone did get hurt. That was just an innocent standby. So
how many people were there approximately that actually broke through and started attacking the horses?
I can't say. I just saw that they kind of travel in a big group. I saw them running and screaming and like doing their thing, but yes, I saw them throwing stones and the horses were all running around like mad, but did they hit them with pangas? No. I never saw anyone. They were walking with sticks. Yes. Did I ever see a panga? No.
All right. Well,
I was there.
I've seen photos of these horses with deep cuts down their sides and things like that. So they must have had knives or something.
Look, there was an official report done that the vet said that there was only one horse that died today. Yeah. And that horse died because it ran into a fence and it broke its neck.
So
it died on impact.
Yeah.
It was never hacked to death. There was not a mark on the horse. What happened? Were they indirectly the cause of it? They let the horse out. They chased him. Yes, 100%. They are liable in that regard. Did they hack the horse to death? No.
What about the horses that have got hack marks on them?
I've seen a lot of the pictures and where they're running and how Fairview is set up in the area it is. There's a lot of heavy, thick bush, and a lot of them have like fall marks. Like I've seen a horse fall on a tarmac, and that's what it looks like on the one horse's shoulder. The one filly that has the giant gash to the side, I can't say what happened to her. She may have been hurt by them. She could have been hurt out in the bush. She could have fallen on anything. So I can't say whether or not it was a human injury or she injured herself, because they were running around in the bush basically. So anything could have happened to them.
Right. And all the horses have now been accounted for?
Yes.
Okay. Now, David, what's your point of view on these cuts on the horses? Have you had any information on that?
I've looked at also some of the photographs. I haven't viewed them myself. I'm not an injury expert. But what I heard on the ground there, some people suggested also, there we go, opinions, that it was panga marks. There was, what I did hear was one of the horses was cut through right to the ribs, that the ribs were showing through.
Wow.
Whether that's going to happen with a bush or slipping on the tar, I don't know. I'm not an injury expert. But what I do know is each and every injury, and that poor horse dying today was from the savagery from those people, what they did there today. And I use the word savagery because it was savage.
Yeah.
What they did
Yeah.
to those poor defenseless animals, because they had or the excuse being used because of a firing of a member. It's unacceptable. But you know what? In South Africa, it's becoming the norm. We don't like something, we break it, we burn it, we kill it. It's the norm. But I don't like you putting up a stupid ad about my hair. I go in, I'll assault people who want to buy in your shop, or I'll burn your shop down. That's the norm in South Africa.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Well, I believe Pick and Pay just yesterday had a problem because a woman was supposedly put in a cold room after she had stolen something, and they threatened the Pick and Pay store. But that's beside the point. Montana, you work with horses. How would
Yes.
those horses have been? I mean, they would have been in a state of panic, wouldn't they, with what was going on today?
They are flight animals. So goodness, I've sat on a horse and then just a branch will billow in the wind and then they have an absolute heart attack and they bolt. Now imagine the magnitude of the sounds and the screamings. They're in absolute terror. What was done to them today is unacceptable. If you have an issue with your ex-employers or take it up with them. If you really want to take it that far, tip his car, do something to that effect. But to take it out on the animals, that is instantly where I lose all interest. It's barbaric what happened to the horses today. It should never, ever, ever have happened. If you want to do shit like that, then take it out on your employer. But the horses, what have they ever done? I mean, those guys, they worked with those horses before. They knew them. I mean, they had a level of, my guys think I'm blessed. I have brilliant staff. They sing to my horses in the morning. They have nicknames for them. I mean, they have relationships with these horses. And for them to turn on them like that because of their employers, they are directing their anger at the wrong person.
Yeah, I totally get it. Do we know what's going to happen? Have we got a ringleader or something like that that's been arrested?
I believe there's been one arrest made, but I haven't heard anything else.
Okay.
Chip in there.
Yeah, go ahead, David.
I also heard one arrest was made today after Pops started dispersing the crowd. One person was arrested. I also believe, according to the security officer on site and another person, that one of the people that was leading the nonsense in front there and all that actually had a warrant of arrest out on him, and nothing was done. It was common knowledge. I don't know if the actual police on the ground, they were informed this guy has a warrant of arrest on him, arrest him. I don't know. But that's just the type of lawlessness, I hate to say it, getting used to. What happened today to those poor animals and to the staff members inside there, because apparently the staff members were terrified as well, understandably.
I bet they would have
What
been.
happened to those animals and to those people inside there is unacceptable. As you said, you being an animal lover, it's unacceptable. I'm an animal lover also. But you know what? It's the norm in South Africa. If a little old lady says something wrong to me, I'll give her a slap from behind. And then heaven help if she defends herself. If I don't like the fact that you've got a farm, I'll come in. I'll do what I want to your family and to you. I'll boil your children, do whatever I want, because that's the norm in South Africa.
Yeah.
And it's sad. The problem we've got at this stage, Scott, and I don't want to sound negative. I'm one of the most positive people you'll ever meet. I spoke to a lady I know in the media today, who I consider very level-headed and very sound. And she said to me, David, our country's a powder keg. Now, this coming out of this lady really shocked me because I've been saying it for years. It's a powder keg. And when I spoke to the guys at Fairview afterward, one of the head trainers there, the hurt and the venom and the disgust out of this guy, who is under normal circumstances apparently a very nice chap, yeah, a bit hard and all that, but a normal chap, and then the hurt and the anger and all that coming out of him today. My worry is that it's going to be the wrong person, the wrong family, the wrong business, and it's going to start off a domino effect in our country, and none of us sane people want it. But things like today has got to stop. This nonsense from Clicks last week has got to stop. The attacks on people in the township. We had a child last week in the town next to us. I think she was 6 or 8 years old. Taken. He wanted to rape her, and they decided, no, he's not going to rape her. He's going to kill her and leave her next to the road. And apparently, during his, I looked at the officer. Yeah, that's what I decided to do. It's the norm. Life has become so cheap in our country.
Well, I can tell you that one of the live streams we have planned in the next week or so is actually on this very subject of the number of children that are now being kidnapped. And, in South Africa, apparently there's one child kidnapped every 30 seconds in South Africa. It's probably one of the most extraordinary bad aspects of what's going on in the country. Now, Montana, have you had a chance to speak to any of the other people at Fairview Racecourse today about what happened this morning?
Look, everyone shares basically the same sentiments. It's Fairview have had this problem with the striking before, of how it's the grooms essentially against the trainers and the assistants. We've dealt with it before, but this is the worst it's ever been. And I think everyone's reached that point where it's turned so toxic. I don't think everyone kind of is just like, they've had enough now. Like, one trainer's tempted to pack it up and just call it a day. I mean, it's because eventually it's just, for instance, well, no one else is allowed to come in and help you when they do strike. So then for instance, it's me, but thankfully I can bring in my family to look after 50 horses. But someone else, it just might be one person to 80 horses. What are they meant to do?
Right.
And then it's a stressful situation. And I think at this point, something needs to give, because every time that this happens, that we are always kind of drawing the short stick here.
Yeah, you're on the receiving end.
No one gets reprimanded. There is no end to it. It's just, okay, fine, it happened, and then it's all of a sudden back to normal again. Like, today's the perfect example. This morning was like World War Z. It was absolute anarchy, and then at 2:00 this afternoon, everyone's back to work, walking the horses and feeding them and carrying on and singing again, like nothing's wrong.
Yeah, it's a surreal world, isn't it?
It's something else. It's really something else.
Now, I guess what makes it even worse for the trainers and people like yourself is that you have a very special relationship with your horses. We're not talking about sheep and goats and chickens. We're talking about horses which have a wonderful bond with humans. Now, the lady whose horses were attacked, she must be absolutely devastated.
Well, imagine someone chasing. imagine someone chasing your child, and
Yes.
you are standing on the other side of the fence, and there's nothing you can do. My heart goes out to Yvette. Like, you cannot believe no one deserves to see that happen. No one. I don't care who you are, how bad you've been. That is, geez, I was almost in tears for her. I mean, if that were my horse, I would have died. I don't know what I would have done, honestly. I really don't. I bubble wrap my horses. That's how much I love them. I mean, I don't plan on having children. Those are my children. Like, that is it for me. They're my pride and joy. I mean, God help if they've got a scratch on their leg. Now imagine that has to happen.
Right. Now, David, how could have this been handled better at the gate when the protesters started coming? What could they have done?
If we had sufficient police to do what they had to do, if we had sufficient public order policing. Now, I have a lot of dealings with the public order policing guys because of my circles that I travel in, if I can put it that way. And I've got the greatest respect for these guys, especially the commander. I'm not going to mention his name, but who does an excellent job. He did an excellent job the other day, breaking up a riotous situation. Now charges are being laid against him. Most probably he's going to get charges laid against him today for being so naughty and arresting these people. But we don't have enough of them. We were expecting, I don't know if you heard about there was another a floral place that's been having problems the last couple of days as well, the last week or so. We were expecting trouble there today. So a lot of the tension was there. None of us outside of Fairview expected this to kick off today. But when it did kick off, zero tolerance should have been applied. It should have been a question of, I'm not going to go push that police officer out the way or push past that police officer because I'm going to get my backside arrested. I'm going to sit in jail and I'm going to get processed. But we don't have that. So, yeah, I'm dealing with a lot of cops as well. And I take my hat off to them. My heart goes out to them, the good cops. And we've got a lot of rubbish cops as well. But I think where the problem lays is management not having the guts to say enough is enough. Well, heaven forbid, agents of the government do something that's going to lose them votes next year. We had a situation a week or two ago in Jeffreys Bay. Taxis were causing trouble. The local law enforcement, fantastic guys, went, put their lives on the line, took the public safety serious, stopped the nonsense, arrested these guys for illegal activity, only for all the cases to be thrown out, not by the land trust, apparently by the station commander, apparently. But whether it was the prosecuting attorney, the prosecuting authority, or the station commander, or Constable Arbel, if you break the law, you've got to suffer the consequences. But it's not happening in South Africa. It's a joke.
Right. Now, look, there's one political party, I actually call it a terrorist group, that is escalating the situation in South Africa. And that's the Economic Freedom Fighters and Julius Malema.
It was going to come eventually.
Don't get me started on them.
No, but it's really not a laughing matter, because what they did with clicks has now set a precedent in South Africa. And it now appears to these thugs that they can go and do what they like and nothing will happen to them. And I think that's where they got it horribly wrong with clicks. They should have had overt police attention, got rid of all the protesters, arrested the rioters, put a stop to it. But now the genie's out the bottle, and you see this happening all over the place. David, how can we put the genie back in the bottle to stop this happening?
That's the $1 million question, isn't
it? There I go there. Get us a government that looks after the people, that's not as corrupt as this one is, and get proper policing back on the ground, because the police who want to do their jobs are not scared to do their jobs. And start going with zero tolerance policing. That was a catchphrase that went out years ago. It's zero tolerance at this stage, because there's There's nothing on zero tolerance. It's a joke. I'd like to see bring back the death penalty. Let me dream on with that one. It's not going to happen. But I'll tell you one thing: you start killing a couple of rapists, they're going to think twice about it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Montana, I've heard reports that we've just talked about this terrorist group, the EFF. I've heard reports that they're planning to have a demonstration outside the gates of the Fairview racecourse tomorrow morning. Have you heard that?
I have heard it once or twice, but it's very much hearsay at this point. If it happens, we won't be surprised. If not, thanks Pope.
All right. Now, if it does happen, David,
what business is it of theirs? It's just another publicity stunt for them, just to prove another point that yes, that they can just bulldoze whatever they like and get away with it.
Yeah. So the motive is not actually what they're claiming to be. It's actually just to cause trouble.
They will see an opportunity. Okay, sweet. Things are getting disgruntled. There could be a race thing involved. Let's jump on it and make the matter a million times worse.
David?
Yes. Now I'm going to be careful with my answer to this question. Yes.
Okay. What should happen if the EFF turn up at the gates tomorrow?
If they rock up at the gates tomorrow, I think we're still under level 1. You're still not allowed to go and have like gatherings at like whatever you want without having a reason. You got to have masks on and all that sort of stuff. And if they're given the opportunity to disperse and they don't disperse, they should be locked up. Scott, can I give you a little view from the other side of the coin?
Please do.
I attended a peaceful demonstration in Port Elizabeth, William Moffat, a few weeks ago. It was a human chain from the top of William Moffat on one side to the other side.
Yeah.
That was the correct. We were under the impression, yes, that's right. You were live on that one with one of the ladies as well. We were under the impression permission had been given. So I rock up there with my mask on and my T-shirt and my little placard, "Stop the Farm Murders." I was there maybe 10 minutes. The rest of the guys had been there about 30 minutes. So let's say 40, 50 minutes. Public order policing arrived. They gave us 5 minutes to disperse, or we would have been locked up. What did we do? Did we put tires in the road, start burning the place down? Did we look the bottle store right next door, which would have been fun? Did we do that? No. We spoke to each other. Some people disagreed with it. We felt it unfair. But we decided, being normal South African citizens, law-abiding citizens of this country, police have given us an instruction, illegal, unfair as it may be, a legal instruction, we disperse. But every other day, we've got burning of tires, we've got this, that, the next thing in places. And what do we hear? That famous Colonel Priscilla Naidu that you were mentioning just now, on Algoa FM, the police are monitoring the situation. Are those people being given 5 minutes to disperse or getting arrested? No. But the ladies with the prams, the gentleman in his wheelchair, I've put the couple maybe 70 in the shade plus, they were going to get thrown into the back of a police van for standing 2 meters apart, doing a peaceful demonstration, masks on, 2 meters apart, holding up a sign saying, "Stop the murder, stop the corruption, stop this." But they were given 5 minutes to disperse. And that was an instruction that came through from their general. So yes, you made your point. We're not allowed to do it, but the red cockroaches, terrorists are allowed to do it and get away with it.
Yeah, no, I totally get it.
It's boiling, the lid is going to pop off.
Well, you know, you look at that protest 2 weeks ago, where 41,000 bikers went to Pretoria. There was not one stone thrown. There was not one tire burnt. It was very peaceful.
Amazing.
Yeah, and you know, when you get a group of the EFF around, it's chaos and anarchy. And The crazy part behind this is that the police do nothing.
Scott, you mentioned the word terrorist.
Yeah.
Not verbatim, but generally the definition of a terrorist is terrorizing people to get your generally a political way. That's what they're doing. They terrorize the members of parliament in parliament, and they get thrown out and they're back in again tomorrow, and they do the same thing. We've got this criminal who attacks a DA member in court a couple of years ago, and it's taken 3 years to get this man behind bars. I'm not even sure if he actually rocked up to start with his sentence. He hit somebody over the head with a glass bottle, jug,
Yeah.
because he didn't agree with his politics, not because he was under threat. And he's been in court, he's been found guilty, he's been sentenced and all that. Is he physically behind bars tonight? I know for a fact, if I go out tomorrow and I hit somebody over the head, my wife won't be seeing me for 10 to 15 years.
Yeah. Well, it does appear that there is a lot of racial injustice when it comes to the judicial system in South Africa. I've spoken to so many people who say that the court system is so broken in South Africa that they keep on postponing court cases, postponing them for years and years and years. And this is how these people get away with it. It's completely out of control. Dockets get lost.
And then eventually just turn out.
And then they just they lose the plot, and the guy walks away free. Montana, is there something you'd like to tell? We've got about 900 people watching right now. Is there something you'd like to talk to people about with what happened? Let's get back to Fairview Stables. Is there something you'd like to tell people about the stables, just so that they get a better feel as to how things are on the ground there?
Look, this morning it was chaos, but there is a lot of fake news going around. I mean, I saw someone post a horse got doused in gasoline and burnt alive. I was like, I was there this morning. I never smelt the barbecue. There's a lot of ridiculous things going around. Yes, the horses got let loose. Yes, they got chased around. Yes, a horse did die. Some definitely got hurt, but nothing fatal. The vet was there this morning. She patched up everything. Everyone was brilliant that helped out. Everything calmed down this afternoon. All the staff resumed as normal by the afternoon. All the other horses are safe and sound. Everything's being well maintained. Pumalela's been great about it. They've increased security. Tomorrow, I don't know what's happening tomorrow. We're supposed to be racing tomorrow, but they will let us know in the morning, give us a clearer picture of what's actually happening, because we don't know what will happen. If we're going to race, if they're going to march, we don't know. But
Right.
As far as the horses are going, they're all relatively in safe condition.
Right. Now, for the actual staff at the race course, surely things can never be the same again after what happened today.
No, absolutely not. I mean, think about Yvette. She always, now tomorrow morning, she's got to walk down her yard and keep looking over her shoulder thinking, well, is someone going to jump out and grab me? How is she meant to feel safe there? And she's been there 20 plus years. I mean, that was her home, and now look what's happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very sad.
Myself as well. I was there this morning by myself. I'm a 23-year-old woman by myself, and all this chaos is going on. I know my staff would never touch me, but there could be one random guy out in the crowd that, I mean, there were random faces in the mob that I'd never seen before. There were staff from Fairview, and there were randoms that I hadn't seen. And those, unfortunately, are the instigators of the big shit. So you don't know what can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I trust my staff. I trust them with my horses. They're my kids. I know they love them. They treat them like gold. But now there's going to be that 5% doubt in my mind now.
Right. I think what's really outraged so many people is that horses are such beautiful animals. You know, they would never hurt anything or hurt anyone, and to target them like that is just shocking.
Yeah. It's something else altogether. I could never imagine it. Every time these Fairview strikes, I was like, you know what? At least the horses have never been affected, and this is the first time I've seen it happen. And
Yeah.
now that it's taken that step further, what's going to happen? Maybe in a year, 2 years, or God, even in 6 months' time, what happens if there's another strike? Are they going to do the same thing again?
Yeah.
Now that horses have become fair game.
And the other tragic reality is you get copycat attacks happening. So, other race courses are going to have to be careful.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we had to be the one to set the trend.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. We are world leaders in that now.
Yeah.
Oh, joy.
Scott.
Yes, David.
As I mentioned to you at the beginning, I'm an old soldier. I was in the military for 14 years. I was a proud South African soldier, but we still had an army to be proud of. And one of the subjects that I specialized in was rural counterinsurgency. Otherwise called riot control, if you can put it there. One of the subjects we when we were training guys in this, we used to look at was what makes the situation. How do you diffuse a situation without killing somebody? Believe it or not, we used to train the guys in the riot. So one of the things that we used to emphasize with the guys there is that a phenomenon called crowd mentality, where you would get one person and you'll tell them to do something, or you ask them to do this, and you'll say, no, that's wrong. I shouldn't be doing that. Put them together with another 10 people and tell all of them to do it, and they will have it easier to do that.
Right.
You're following the logic behind it for what logic it can be. South Africa has got a crowd mentality just now. Malema can get away with standing there, shooting an AK into the air, standing there saying, kill the boer, kill the farmer, and nothing happens to him. Is anything going to happen to me? Am I going to get locked up for slapping that 60-year-old lady in the back of her head because I didn't like her? Is anything going to happen to me? No, because the norm in the country is, and that's what we do. We don't like something, we get together, we go, certain parts of our get together and burn and pillage and rape and do what they want. And that crowd mentality, it's not just down to the 5, 50, 100, 300, 3,000. It's a crowd mentality that we unfortunately been festered in this country. That if we get together, 50, 80 of us will get together, we're going to do that. But you know what? And I'm going to say it very plainly, we're not getting that amongst the whites. We don't have that mentality amongst the whites, and I'm generalizing now. But can I tell you something? If you get 5,000 Boer together and they say enough is enough, what Judas and his little puppets do is going to be kinderspieltjies. It's going to be child's play, and we don't want that. Nobody wants that. No sane person in this country wants that. But if they're going to keep on prodding the beast, like they did today again, and like they did the weekend, and like they did the previous weekend, like they did the week before, we're going to get some people that are going to say enough is enough. And this country is too beautiful. There's too many lovely people in this country for this country to do a Zimbabwe or to do a DRC on itself and implode.
Yeah, well, I think
Sorry if I'm sounding negative.
I think this lockdown has really exacerbated the situation because there are so many hungry people now in South Africa, and hungry people do just about anything to get food.
Scott, let me ask Montana a quick question there. This is again a rumor I heard today. What were you guys doing during the lockdown? Where were you guys taking food parcels during the lockdown? To the same people that were in there today.
I wasn't. I gave food parcels to my staff.
Okay. But I believe there was people at the race course were actually going down to that informal settlement down there and giving out food parcel to the people there that lost their jobs and they were destitute and all that. And it's the same people that come turn around and bite them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah, it's a age-old saying, and what happens at the end of the day? It bites you.
Yeah.
You know what it does? But you know how many beautiful stories and how many beautiful experience me and old soldiers had in the Hunters Valley here doing the same thing during the lockdown, giving food parcels out and having those people standing with tears in their eyes and being so grateful for it. And meeting them in the street and them saying, "Hey Dave, hoe gaan het? Lekker. Nah, thanks very much. When are you going to give us another food parcel?" That is so heartwarming. And then I wake up today, go through to the office, and my plan for the office today, I was going to do this, this, and this, and this. And I get this call, and my day went totally pear-shaped. When my wife walked in tonight, she took one look at me, she knew, not in a good place. But I had it easy. I wasn't assaulted. I wasn't, if pangas were used, I didn't have pangas against me. I didn't lose a beloved pet or animal today. I had it easy. But why do we have to go through these? Why do we have to? We had a situation here in Potensi Sunday night where 5 shacks were burnt down. We went to go and help these people to get the fire out, and the fire brigade was there. That went through on Tuesday with food parcels from Coca Municipality to these people. And the one family was a lady with her three girls and a son of 17, and the one girl is, I think, 8 years old. And I said to her in Afrikaans, I said to her, Shane, you've gone and lost everything. And she looked up at me, she says, "Yeah, sir, but it's okay, I'm still alive."
Yeah.
How sad is our society when we're just so grateful to be alive? They lose everything, but they're still so grateful to be alive. And you know what the worst thing about it was? That was the Sunday night. The Monday morning, the community who lived around them were busy there. What wasn't burnt out, they stole.
Oh, wow. I just have to make one observation, seeing that it appears that some of those horses were slashed by somebody. And that is that, I have a big circle of friends and a family here on the Loving Life channels, and we all think the same. We couldn't use a knife on anything. Okay, we'll cut a tomato up into quarters, but to use that knife on a living animal like a horse or another human being, it just doesn't fit. I couldn't do it. I can't understand how these people go out there with knives and pangas and they will hack. There's cows at the University of in the Eastern Cape. I've forgotten which one it was, but these 2 cows wandered into the campus, and these students there were cutting pieces of meat off them while they were standing there. The cows were standing there. They were alive, and they were cutting pieces of meat off them.
That's tomorrow's
how can you do that? Montana, could you just go and cut a piece of meat off an animal that's standing there in front of you?
I don't eat red meat, so no.
Yeah, but I mean, what you're saying is no, you could never do that.
I love cows. I've had a pet cow. I cry if a bird clips my window while I'm driving. I burst into tears. So
yeah.
No, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I see a dead dog on the side of the road, I instantly bawl my eyes out. It's just, for me, that's I couldn't. I don't know. I don't understand how they could have gone that far, and especially when I know a lot of the staff that are there and how they do feel about their horses. I find it very hard to believe that they would have taken it that far.
Well, it certainly looks like that, but I guess we'll find out. Okay, now guys, look, I've really thank you for coming on at such short notice to talk about this whole situation at Fairview Race Ground and Stables. I guess the bottom line is that there were 28 horses involved. They were released by these people who illegally broke into the Fairview Stables. All the horses belonged to one owner, and what we do know is that they were chased around. They panicked, and one of those horses ran into a fence and broke its neck as a result of being panicked. Is there anything more we can add to that, Montana?
As far as the horses are concerned, they are being monitored. The vets have all been on call. I think they've still got staff there watching them now, so they are being tended to. It just was unfortunately only one fatality, but the rest of the horses that did get injured, nothing was life threatening.
Right. And David, from your side, is there something you'd like to add?
Heartful.
Yeah, I get that.
The normal people in the country are heartful. Today was horses. Last week it was hair products at Clicks and a little old lady who had to pull a gun to defend herself. 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, actually the weekend, it was a farm attack. And it's the same old. And we are heartful. And it's got to stop. And the government, as I had a meeting with a SAPS officer last week, and I said to him, you guys have got to stop this or we will. And the public is getting to the stage. I don't want to share with you the messages I was getting on the WhatsApp groups today. Yeah, a lot of it's big talk.
But there's always going to be that one message that could be true.
Not that one message is going to be true. It's going to be that wrong guy who's going to get pulled out of his car and his car set alight. Or the wrong guy whose family gets assaulted or gets attacked. Or the wrong guy whose child gets stolen and put into slavery. And it's going to trigger a domino effect in our country. And we've got to prevent that. But everything has been done in this country over the centuries. We've got to stop, because this place will make the DRC look like a blooming child's play. And we've got to get a grip. This government has got to get a grip. They've got to decide. Do they want this country to slide into anarchy because we're on a slippery slope? Or do they want do they want a governable country? Do they want to govern this country, or do they just want to pillage, take all the money, what they can get, and make a run for Dubai? Go join the Guptas.
Well, I guess I guess the tragedy and the reality is, David, that this ANC government couldn't organise a barbecue in a park, let alone run a country. So to try and get them to fix the problems of South Africa is far too big for them. You need the adults in the room to take over the classroom again. That's what you need, because South Africa's in chaos.
Can we not hit the reset button? When it's illegal to buy up until a couple of weeks ago, it was illegal to buy cigarettes on the corner, arresting people for that. Ooh, fantastic. But people were still getting murdered left, right, and center. People's houses were still getting broken into left, right, and center.
Yeah. Look,
Do they really want to fix the problem or not?
Yeah, I totally get it. All right, guys, look, thank you so much for joining me tonight. We've now got the inside story. We know exactly what happened. I do suggest that other race courses in South Africa add extra security, because copycat crimes are just so prevalent in South Africa. Montana, is there something you'd like to say in closing to everybody watching?
Just keep Yvette in your thoughts. I would honestly hate to be in her shoes right now.
Right. Yeah, because what are her options?
At this point, what are her options?
Yeah.
I mean, she's been through absolute hell. I mean, I'm amazed she's lasted this long. If I were her, I would have thrown in the towel long ago.
Yeah. Have you spoken to Yvette today?
No, I haven't. You know what? There's a time and a place, and certain people just need their space.
Right.
So I'm not. She's a strong enough woman. She's got her family to support her. I just wish her all the best, and I'm devastated that this happened to her. No, what? This shouldn't happen to anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. David, is there something you'd like to say just in wrapping up the live stream tonight?
A plea In the old days, we used to have on our South African coat of arms at the bottom, Eendracht maak maak.
Yes, exactly.
Unity is strength. If the community stands together, how many million are we in South Africa? Stand together against these thugs and these criminals who are leading the country, we can fix our country. And you can start with that. Join your neighborhood watch, join your farm watch, whether you're living in a what we refer to as a suburb or you're living in a township, it doesn't make a difference. Join your neighborhood watch. Get involved, because when the community of a township of 5,000 people stand up against those 50 thugs, they can fix it. And if the South Africans will get off the backside, start getting involved, and start holding our country, our government accountable, and say to them, fix it now. If you're not going to fix it, we're going to fix it. Because we do have rights. It's in the Constitution. One of my rights is to defend myself, to defend my property, to defend my family. Everyone has that right. Why do we have to live in fear? So get involved. Don't moan and bitch about how bad things are in our country. You're not going to pull your finger out and do something. Not everybody is going to do patrols, but you can get involved somewhere or other within your community to stop this thuggery, stop this savagery. God bless.
Thanks, David. And look, I just want to say in closing that I think the economic freedom fighters, the terrorists, should actually be incarcerated. They should be thrown behind bars, the whole damn lot of them. And you know, that the party should be disbanded, because it is causing so much trouble in South Africa. And it's because Julius Malema seems to have a Teflon coating. They won't touch him. He's been emboldened by this lack of response to what he does. All right, I'm going to leave it at that.
The government wanted to stop.
Sorry, what's that, David?
I said, you wonder some days, does the government want him to stop?
I don't know, but I guess we're going to find out what happens in the future. But on this channel, we don't refer to the EFF as a political party anymore. We refer to it as a terrorist organization. And you spelt out earlier, David, exactly why my suggestion is right on the money, because they terrorize people.
Yep.
All right, I just want to thank the moderators. Thanks, guys, for doing the excellent work you're doing in the side chat there. I want to thank everybody who's joined us tonight. We've had nearly 1,000 people at one time, and we got well over 750 right now. So thank you for joining us. Please remember to subscribe to the Loving Life channel. We have some really great live streams most nights. Tomorrow night we're actually going to be talking about the EFF with my guest who is Yusuf Ismail. And on Saturday night we're having a jamming session. We always have a Saturday night jamming session where people can relax and enjoy the music and put in requests and stuff like that. And these are live performers, great musicians that we have. So every night on Loving Life at 8 p.m, or most nights at 8 p.m, we do have live streams. So please subscribe so that you can actually get alerts to the live streams that we carry. All right, with that, I'm going to wrap up the live stream. Once again, thank you so much, Montana. Thank you so much, David, for giving us a goss on what happened at Fairview today. Please take care. And to all our everybody watching, please take care and have a good evening. Bye for now.